This is homework set 2, properties of real numbers, and we're going to look at questions 1 through 8. Question 1 says to use the distributive property to rewrite each of the following expressions, then simplify the result. So we're given an expression here, and we want to rewrite it and then simplify it if we can. Now here's what we've got. 4 times, right, that set of parentheses next to the 4 means multiplication. So 4 times 1/4 a minus 3. Now, first of all, I notice inside the parentheses there's nothing we can do. This is 1/4 of an a, and then we're going to subtract 3. These are unlike objects, unlike terms, so we can't really do anything with those. So I'm going to distribute this 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 times the 1/4 a, and then minus 1/4 the 3. So let's do that. It's going to be 4, that 4 right there, 4 times 1/4 a, and then we've got this minus sign right here, minus, and then the 4 times that 3. Now, this is all a multiplication here. What I've got is 4 times 1/4 times a. So I'm just going to multiply left to right. So first of all, right here, 1/4 times, or 4 times a 4th, that's just 1. So I'll go ahead and write the 1 this time. We'll get 1a minus 4 times 3 is 12. Right now, I'm using the order of operations. I've got a multiplication, a subtraction, and a multiplication. So I'm going to do the multiplication first. 4 times 1/4 is a 1, and I still have multiplied by the a. Then I've got 4 times 3 is 12, and I've got minus that. Now, I don't really need this 1 here, so I'm going to eliminate that. So I'm just going to write this as a minus 12. Now, in question 2, we're going to use the associative property to rewrite this expression and then simplify it if we can. So our expression is 2 times 5a. Now, this is a multiplication, and I'm going to reassociate these parentheses. So I'm going to use this property here. Now, the property is going to look like this. If I have something like this, a times, now, this will be b times c. So what this has to do is, first of all, multiply b and c together, then multiply that result by a. So a times, you do this first. But if it's all multiplication, I can reassociate these parentheses. So I can take these parentheses and redistribute them over here, writing a times b times c. So if I do that in this, 2 times 5a, I'm going to reassociate those parentheses like this. 2 times 5 times a. And the 2 times 5, well, that's just a 10a. Now, you might think of it this way to make sure it makes sense to you. This says I have 5 a's, right? I've got 5 a's. So just imagine in your head you've got 5 a's. Then you double it. Now, if you double 5 a's, how many a's do you have? You've got 10 a's. Now, question 3, this is much like question 2. In question 2, back over here, we were using the associative property through a multiplication. Now, I'm going to use the associative property again through a multiplication. So instead of taking 2 of these 1/2 y's, that's going to be the same as 2 times 1/2 of a y. And then 2 times 1/2, that's just a 1y, but a 1y, that's just a y. Now, does that make sense that I just replaced 1y with y? The multiplier out here, that 1, that's multiplying the y. That's just recording, this number here records how many of these I've got. This says I have 1 y. Now, if I have 1 y, I can tell just by looking at it. How many are here? Just 1. If I wanted more than 1, like 2, I would have written a 2 out here. So that multiplier tells me how many of these I have. So look up here to the left. How many of these a's do you have? You've got a 4th of times 4th of an a. So I have a 4th of an a. And then down here, I have just 1a, so I'll just write the a. Now down here, I've got how many a's? 10 of them. So you just imagine 10 a's being added together. In question 4, I want to use the distributive property to rewrite this expression and then simplify the result. Now here's our expression. What have we got? We've got 3 of these, right? It's a times. Times is the word of, so I have 3 of these. So I'm going to, I've got 3 of these added together. So what I'm going to do, though, is use the distributive property. I'm going to multiply here, then a plus, and then I'll multiply here. So let's do that. So I'm going to have 3 times 4y, and then the plus sign, the 3 times the 2. Now just go left to right. Right here, I've got a times and a times, so it's going to be 3 times 4 is 12y, and then plus 6. Order of operations, right? I got a multiplication, an addition, and a multiplication. So do the multiplications first. 3 times 4 is the 12 times y. I can't really multiply 12 and a y, but I can indicate it. I'm indicating it right here, 12 times y. And then 3 times 2 is a 6, and then plus. Now, I can't do anything more, right? These are y's, and this is just a 6. I can't add y's and a 6 together. So that is our result. So let's claim that this expression here, this original expression, can be simplified or rewritten like this. Question 5, we're again going to use the distributive property to rewrite this expression, and then we're going to simplify it. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take the 3 and distribute it into the 5x and then to the 5y. So I think it's going to look like this then. 3 times 5x, and then plus 3 times the 5y, and now just multiply. 3 times 5 is 15x, plus, again, 3 times 5 is 15y. I can't do anything more. I'm going to claim that this is the rewritten expression. I can't do any more because I've got 15 x's here, and I got 15 y's here. They're not the same, so I can't actually combine them. All I can do is indicate it. I'm doing that. 15 x's, add to 15 y's. Now in question 6, we're going to use the distributive property to rewrite this expression right here. Now I'm going to use the distributive property to rewrite this expression right here. I've got this two-term expression times this 4. So I'm going to distribute that 4 in. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to distribute that 4 in here and then here. So let's multiply. I'm going to get 4 times 4a plus 4 times 5, 16a plus 20, and that's the best we can do. Right, the 16, that's what the a's is counting. I've got 16 a's, and then to that I'm going to add 20. So I can't combine. I can't get like 16 and 20 getting 36. That's the best we can do, 16a plus 20. Question 7, we're told that this problem is going to show up later, but right now what we want to do is apply the distributive property, just like we did in problem 6. Now, I've got the 4 on the left side and the 2 terms on the right side. Up here, we have reversed, 2 terms and a single term. Doesn't matter. It's the commutative property, which says this, by the way. Let's just talk about that for a minute. It says this. If you have A times B, you can write that as B times A, right? Do you believe it? 3 times 4 is the same as 4 times 3. They're both 12. So if you have a multiplication, you can switch the order of those factors. So, but what we've got now is 4 times, let's distribute the 4 in. 4 times the A minus 4 times the 1/4. So I'm going to have 4 times that A minus 4 times 1/4. Now the 4A, I can't do anything with that, but I can do here 4 times 1/4. Well, 4 1/4 is 1. Question 8 asks us to again use the distributive property to rewrite this expression right here. So we're going to multiply the 6 and the 1/6 y, put a minus sign, and then the 6 times the 4. So let's do that. It'll look like this. 6 times 1/6 y, the minus sign, 6 times 4. Now, going left to right, 6 times 1/6 is 1, y minus 24, and we don't need that 1. So how about y minus 24.